So I believe it's Thursday, March 16th, 2017. I'm sitting at the Pilot in Lebanon, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, waiting on a load. They're setting up for me, possibly out of Mount Juliet, depending on if the dispatcher gets the bid. I told him for about $1 a mile, a little more, a little less, or something, but see what they can do, because it's where they want to go is back roads, Kentucky, again, of course, but I'll take it if it means getting out of here. And in the meantime, we have this fun action going on, so I don't know what the hell they said or why they would do it. Two young cops are talking to a guy who is living in his car over there. He's probably been parked here all night long, and right behind me is a couple, 2 or 3 signs that say no long-term parking, which means no overnight parking, pretty much. Which is kind of weird, but every now and then you'll find a Pilot that has that, and I don't know if he's been drinking or what. But they sure have been here a while, because my radio was playing for 15 minutes, or 10 minutes of the 15 minutes before it shuts off, so I've been backed up for about 10 minutes, sitting here waiting. Figured if they'd zap him or something, I'd get it on camera. That'd be cool. But so far, the old guy walked back to that police car twice, and the young guy went back to his cop car once. And they still haven't left yet, so I don't know if the dude's got warrants or what. It's interesting. Life of a car driller. Here's a tip to the people out there living in their cars, living in vans, etc. If you're not very stealthy, your best option is to park either on a side street, first and foremost, because on a side street you could legally park there and sleep in your car in most cities, except for on the coastal states, where a lot of RVers and vacationers go. But and most people would think that you could park in a truck stop and get away with it. Me as an expediter, I could probably get away with it in an expediting van overnight, depending on how strict the Pilot is about it. But the idea is to keep these spaces free, and then this old-time generic regular car wash for cars kind of blocks the view of the truck stop and turns this into kind of a shady back car lot. Where I'm sure drugs and everything else have gone on in the past, and it leads to situations like this where the Pilot calls ahead of time, or the guy might have been there all night long. But either way, without walking up there and asking the guy to politely leave themselves, they call our friendly servants out to have them check on him. So obviously I don't want to be parked here very long myself either. I mean, I could probably get away with sleeping in here overnight if one had to, coming off the road, being an expediter, but living in a car or living in a van, I wouldn't want to try and get away with it. It looks like a decent spot to do, but a lot of other people have come and gone, and if they would just behave themselves while they're back here sleeping, the Pilot would never have a problem. But since past history has proven that they have problems back here with drug dealings or who knows what, you end up with this kind of situation. Anyway, I've gone on enough about it for now. I'll keep this on my next clip for my next video. They put a young black guy in the back of the cop car. And then we have that going on there. And they're searching through, it looks like a couple bags. And now they're trying to find papers. I don't know what the hell. Yep, I so totally need a dash cam. I could just spin it over there and let it play. Seems like I'm seeing more things driving while parked and everything just since I started working. I don't know why that is. I was just noticing more or what. On the road more than I used to be. I don't know. But anyway, kitchen. Peaceful Nashville, Tennessee on a Saturday. March 18th, 2017. Bunch of people out partying St. Patty's Day last night. I behaved myself. Looking forward to the day when I can afford to go out there and do those kind of things. But it is what it is. Tennessee State Capitol's right up the street, and then the next clip I'll have the video of where I got mugged last time I was in Nashville. That's why I'm exploring the city during the day and not at night, because of that rough experience. If you were following me from one of my first videos, it's probably on like video 3, way back in the day before I took them off. Now I only have those copies on the computer, but Way back in the day in my traveling backpacking stories, Nashville made an impression on me. Anyway, the sidewalk's covered with different counties and their history. And the kitchen. I apologize for the wind. Apparently not the next clip. Where I got mugged last time. I'm still part of Nashville's Bicentennial Mall Park thing. Yep, it never ceases to amaze me just the amount of bogus millions and millions of dollars we spend on concrete impressions like this. I guess it wouldn't, if all of mankind were to perish in some kind of disease or something didn't affect the rest of the world, concrete would be around for another 100 years maybe. So then I guess it's worth preserving our history like that, but otherwise makes you think a lot of space that's wasted on walking around looking at stuff. I mean, they wasted a whole city park or city block, half the block anyway, making a state of Tennessee, just below the Tennessee state capitol, which makes sense, but things you can walk along and read the different county histories on. And there's the capitol. Itty bitty little capitol. I'm sure it gets bigger as you get up the hill, but I've seen other state capitals and they're much bigger than that. I apologize for the wind. Halfway up Capitol Hill. Some kind of tradition that if you've never gone up to the state capitol before, or especially after St. Patrick's Day, you climb up the grass instead of the steps. It's one hell of a workout. Soldiers did that a long time ago. Civil War, I think they said on the movie. I think it's downtown Nashville, Tennessee on a slow night. Isaac Stevens Broadway. People's on the roof.
There's a new wind blowing like I've never known. Breathing deeper than I've ever done. It sure feels good to finally feel the way I do. 'Cause I wanna love somebody like you.
Well, you've seen those pedal families, I'm sure.
I sure hope it gets a lot prettier here by Christmas time, because Nashville has done a lot to kill their scenery. In the middle of some kind of project with a couple wooden, historic, fake-looking, newer, older-looking buildings. And across the way, they put a stadium up. Used to be a flat open area, for a block back anyway. Back in the day, this was postcard pretty. Christmas time, you imagine all the lights on those bridges and stuff as you walk down. I just did the park. You can kind of see it right there as you walk up. That part's still kind of pretty, but they, I don't know, did a lot to kill the scenery around here. I think in the last 10 years, Nashville's gone completely commercial, which happens a lot of times to tourist towns like that. Not like it was back in the day when I first ventured through here. Still have some of the older buildings, but man, they look older than crap now. I don't know, it's not the greatest scenery like it used to be. Just down there on the other side of these buildings and stuff is where I got mugged last time, so while I was taking pictures. Back in the day before I had the option to video right there on my phone. We've come a long ways in 10 years. It's at least 10 years now. 2005, I think I came through here. So it's got to be at least 10 years since I was in Nashville. Downtown part. Anyway, this is going to end my video clip for this time. I apologize for the wind. Some of that stuff can't be helped. Sorry I have to end it on this note for this kind of scenery. I was hoping to give you something way better, but by the time I got downtown, busy today on a St. Patrick's Day weekend in Nashville. I didn't see any stars this time like I saw George Strait and Britney Spears back in the day. They I'm sure they are there in them, probably inside where they're paid to sing instead of right there on the street like they used to be. Things have definitely changed in this world. Anyway, like and subscribe, leave comments, and we'll catch you on the flip. Well, that was a fun weekend getaway in Nashville, Tennessee. The parking itself is horrendous, even on Saturdays. I went into a parking garage that you pay $4 to park at. Luckily, I was able to get back out without having to pay for it, but I drove all 3 levels, and there's nowhere to park. On a Saturday. Of course, it is after St. Patty's, but... So I did learn that if you're going to come and visit Nashville, Tennessee, it's easier just to park the 6 blocks away from the downtown tourist attractions and walk in, plus you get the exercise anyway. So I'm parked down by the employee parking for the Capitol building way back on the other side. I'm glad that I didn't have loads and I was able to take the time today to get a little exercise in, walking the 6 blocks over and around and back, and checking everything out that you saw in the clip. But I would have much rather been, you know, at work getting paid for it somewhere. Is what it is though. With the St. Patrick's Day weekend, I didn't expect to get a load from Thursday on and didn't. As you can see, I'm back in the van. I'm gonna be heading north to a truck stop that's halfway between Nashville and Bowling Green, Kentucky. I might go all the way to Bowling Green because it's one of my favorite places to revisit, so I might stop there. I don't know yet how far. The Pilot is where I gotta go to refill for when they call me for a load, to refill with the fuel card that they gave me to do it with. So I might only venture as far as the Flying J or the Pilot or something, but I might get adventurous and drive a little further. I don't know. Depends on how much I have to backtrack with fuel, or where I have to go to load up and all that. And you don't know all that until they give you a load sometime. Hopefully I'll get a load on Monday. But anyway, that's the gist of my Nashville trip. I went in a couple bars, the ones that didn't charge. I mean, they charge a cover charge to just walk into a bar to hear people that look like stars, you know. I don't know, like George Strait or Garth Brooks lookalikes that aren't the actual real thing. They actually charge a couple of charge for, of course, probably to pay the band, the fake band, to play at their bars and stuff like that. And then some bars are free. But when you come down here, just expect to spend money up the yin. It's a typical tourist trap these days. I was a little bit disappointed in how far Nashville has fallen in my eyes in terms of commercialized into a tourist trap. Back in the day, it was so much better. I feel old every time I revisit someplace 10 years later after the fact. I just obviously feel 10 years older. But it is what it is. Looking forward to work on Monday. I'm gonna spend my Sunday resting up in a truck stop somewhere, probably, and we'll get back to work. That's it for this update. Like and subscribe, leave comments, we'll catch you on the flip.